so trying to really generate interest in the subject. Identify and reward. Students understanding that with hard work comes financial reward, in enterprise, but also the non-financial reward that you get, the sort of benefits I think the boys will be able to talk to you about in a moment that you get from being part of an enterprise club. And finally, building learning and thinking skills, which is something I think all modern schools are doing or trying to improve upon, and this is certainly something that we're trying to do at DESC. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so practically, I think one of the most difficult hurdles to get over with running an enterprise club is basically getting students to come up with ideas that are doable in the future. It can be difficult. Sometimes students, obviously they're quite young, they might find it difficult to think of ideas, and certainly practical ideas that they can actually do. They've got limited resources to work with, so there's lots of challenges. So one of the first things we try to do is to meet with the students that have expressed an interest in being part of an enterprise club and put some activities and some examples to try and give them ideas about what they can run as a business idea. So we use practical tasks, which I'm going to get you guys doing in a couple of minutes' time. So more on that later. We do things like we use brainstorming. So there's an element of teamwork going on. We always make sure that the students are able to start simple at quite a basic level, but there's a scalability factor to the business that they're doing. It can't be something so small as, say, a bake sale, which I think every school's had a bake sale at some point, and it's quite a basic business idea. There's got to be some growth within the business idea, and also. Yeah, we're looking for, as I've said, growth and diversification, so extension of the idea in the future. Okay, next slide. Okay, so, in the school, I'm currently working in DESC, no worries, and previous schools and also other schools that have used Young Enterprise. Some examples of things they've done. A number of years ago, there were a number of students that used memory sticks. They took plain memory sticks and approached different educational institutions and basically sold their memory sticks with their company logo or brand on them, okay, which was quite successful. In my previous school, we had a young enterprise group, and they were called Soap Sensations, and it was quite a simple idea. They used to buy loaves of soap, which were in sterling, they were about £20, and they used to basically, we bought a soap cutter, and they could cut up these bars of soap, these loaves of soap, into individual bars. They could present them and add value to them and sell them on with the right sort of packaging and marketing. So simple, yet quite a sort of a good idea, really. A record clock's taking something that in certain instances might be, I don't know, something that was going to be thrown out and adding value to it, adding a clock mechanism and selling it on. Also quite retro and I suppose cool these days. And I think one of the most recent winners of the British Young Enterprise Company programme was this gramophone idea. They approached a Chinese company and they got this plastic iPhone base, which obviously channels sound out of it, so it's a stand for your phone, but it also produces good sound at the same time. Okay, next slide please, sir. Okay, it's a delay. Right, so before we do this, what I'd like to do is to hand it over to our two entrepreneurs from our school. They're in year 13. Boys, do you want to come down the front? Okay, they're very brave for doing this. Boys, do you want to introduce yourself and just talk us through what you've done?
Good afternoon. My name is Jahan Charin, and this is my co-founder of Willow. And basically, this year, the school introduced this new enterprise club, and because we have this entrepreneurial drive in both of us, we chose to go for it and try to build something that will change the school in a way. So we came up with several ideas, as Mr. Davies talked about how generating ideas is the hardest part. We came up with ideas for building stationery for the school. We also thought of this idea of making a wall in the school where kids could graffiti, and they'd pay us like 5-10 dirhams to like graffiti something on a wall, which could then be like replastered over, and then people would continue to do this. But we found that all these ideas started to become quite hard to bring to actual life. So then we got into this idea of making jackets for the school. Our current jumpers or jackets weren't providing like warmth, or wasn't stylish enough for us teenagers. So we thought about making stylish jackets that would keep people warm and make them look good. So then we had to obviously go through this entire process of finding suppliers and making deals with suppliers. And because my father is an advertiser, I was able to procure a supplier and some graphics employees to help me and my partner make certain ideas and graphics for the enterprise and manage a place that would make the jackets.
Okay, so we had our initial idea, and we knew what we wanted to do and how we were going to do it. But now we needed the kind of financial income to support this venture. So what we did was we decided to go for a simple fundraiser, like Mr. Jerry said. We decided to do a base down with donuts specifically. And what we found was that students loved the idea. We had advertised a bit before. We have a daily dispatch that we kind of do in our school, and we made sure that for the couple of days running up to the event, we would advertise this and make sure that people brought in money. And we found that this was really successful. We raised an excess of 1,100 dirhams in only 15 minutes. We completely sold out all our stocks, 127 donuts I think it was, in literally our first break, our short break. So we underestimated how much our sales would be, and we managed to sell out. So that was our initial capital. That's what we used to invest in our original jumpers. So that's what we did. We sent off for a couple of samples, and that's basically how we got our first bit of something to show for what we had done. But then we ran into one problem. We had to talk to our assistant head teacher about introducing basically a new element in the school uniform, because we did want it to have the school logo. We didn't want it to be integrated into the school uniform. So we approached our assistant head teacher and we discussed it with him. He said that because it was already halfway through the year, it wasn't sensible and it wasn't possible for him to introduce a new jumper. It would cause too many problems. He would have to alert parents to it. There were a whole host of different issues. So what we then did was we compromised. We said, okay, students are allowed to wear these jumpers during break time, lunchtime, and to and from school, and as an extracurricular thing after school whenever they want. And he said that was acceptable as long as they're not wearing it during lesson time. So we had some problems, but through negotiation we were able to overcome them.
The second problem we encountered was this idea of what would the jacket be? Would it just be a simple jacket for the school? Would it be a jacket for extracurricular activities? So we obviously couldn't make a jacket just for school, because that wouldn't, as my partner said, it wouldn't it wouldn't be allowed in the school. So we came across this idea of making jackets for sports teams. We faced another problem after we got the samples, because we had taken so long to procure the money, the financial capital needed for the samples. It had already come to this point where most sporting seasons, such as football, basketball, cricket, had all passed. So making extracurricular jackets was almost redundant. So then we obviously had to sit down again and rethink what would the jackets be. And we, being in year 13, leaving this year, we thought we want to take something away from the school, not just a great education, but also something that will last us. So we thought about this idea of how universities have jackets advertising the university, and maybe a graduation jacket. So we started, brainstorming this idea of graduation jackets, making it class of 14, class of 15 jackets specifically, only for the sixth formers, so year 12 and 13. So what this did was it made our idea slightly simpler. We didn't have to target to 1,000 students. Now we only had to target to about 200 students. So we were more focused and able to target our audience even better. So what we did then was get two of our friends to help us make a video, an advertisement to market our jacket, and this idea that you can leave the school with a graduation jacket now. And we made it into a sarcastic, satirical, comical advert that seemed to serve its purpose at the time, and it seemed to doing really well. And what we learned from making the advertising was our editing skills, which...
Yeah, So basically, we had an idea we were happy with. We had decided to make this advertisement, which we'll show you, I think, at the end of this presentation.
Show it now, gentlemen.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Thanks for stealing everyone.
Okay.
Just to give you brief insight into the advertising itself, it's meant to be obviously comical, and it's meant to show that how this jacket was meant to empower a student and make him even more powerful than he already is. And the current jacket is obviously one that shows extracurricular activities such as desk football, and that was one of the problems we came across because we had already made samples for extracurricular activities, but then realized we couldn't actually make it for extracurricular activities. You know, we had to like divert this problem and talk about how it focuses more on this graduation jacket.
This spring, brace yourselves for a shift in the normal. Brace yourselves for the greatest innovation ever brought to DESC. Rather than kissing embrace the DESC spirit. There's nothing that can escape
Talk about what we're doing now and what we're going to do.
Any injuries? Okay, so after we made this video, now we basically what we're doing now. We've made this video, we showed it to our student body through various different lessons and during the registration in the morning time. Now what we're doing now is we've made sheets of paper which we're giving to everyone with basically how they fill in their information. We've made it so that the jackets can be personalized with an added cost to the jacket. So that's just another incentive for people to buy our product. So what we're doing now is basically we've given out the sheets to everyone, they're filling it in, they're giving it back to us. We've just started that process and we have until basically the end of April for us to get back our orders, and we've already set a hard deadline so that people know. And basically, it's only for year 12s and 13s at the moment, but we think that, you know, this is an expandable business. If it were to be continued next year by, say, another entrepreneurial club when we're gone, I think it would succeed. We've learned a lot from this experience. We've learned teamwork. We've learned how to, you know, talk to our teams and discuss with them and come up with ideas that everyone agrees on, not just, you know, one person and, you know, them saying that because it's my idea, I want to do it. We've also developed interpersonal skills. We've learned how to talk to different people, like how to talk to teachers, overcome problems and boundaries that are caused. For example, when when I mentioned before that we had talked to a teacher and he said we couldn't wear those jackets during school time. We had to then discuss with him, compromise with him, and that's kind of developed the way that we talk to other people in the business world. We've also learned, you know, some of you may disagree, but we've learned some editing skills. We've learned how to make videos to some extent. And it's just a whole host of skills that will not benefit us maybe directly, but together as an amalgamation, they make us, you know, into a more business savvy people, and that's really important in today's world, where everyone wants to be, you know, an entrepreneur or successful in some way.
What A levels are you doing, lads?
Maths, physics, chemistry, and further maths.
Yes, same.
So neither of you doing either business nor economics.
No,
No.
but that's just this passion that we have on the side.
Yeah, and this has really truly helped us enhance this passion and embrace the passion. Even though we weren't able to take business or economics as A levels or as subjects, we were still able to put our business skills to use and create something that we think is pretty different and unique in our school. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic, boys. Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, well done. Well done indeed. Okay, so what we're going to do now is get you lot involved. And basically, we're going to do an exercise that we do with some of our business studies students, but also we do at the start of a Young Enterprise Club to get the students thinking about ideas. Okay? So what this involves is quite simple. Below your chairs, there's some spinnies bags full of limited resources, I'd call them. You've got to use those limited resources to create an end product. Right, now the end product, you're going to have 8 minutes in your groups. You can work in 2s, 3s, 4s, whatever you want. You've got to make a children's toy prototype using those limited resources. Okay, and that's the brief. It's as simple as that. 8 minutes, starting now. Go.
You can work in pairs, groups, or on your own.
You can have a go if you want, boys. It's up to you.
Go on, Lance, have a go.
We have children's toy. Well, good, weren't they? There you go. Please have a... Oh, right, okay. Well done, boys. That was superb.
Great, lads.
Better than me. Cheers.
Okay, you're going to do the brand name. The easy bit is the brand name. It's the easy bit.
How are we doing for time?
See? Ladies have already got ideas. They can multitask. So they can multitask.
So we have until 1:45. Okay, if you use the clock on the wall until 1:45. They were good, weren't they? Amazing.
Like a machine.
Is this a kind of idea that's been done?
Yeah, you did this one.
We were planning on selling it as a...
You did this.
We were planning on making it a make your own starter kit.
That's when somebody like cuts their finger open on the corner of that. It all goes wrong.
See, look at that.
Brilliant.
Look at that, he's got physics.
He's got an axle. I see where he's going.
He's got an axle already.
Man after my own heart.
He's got an axle.
And those Scotch tapes cost $3.50 each. They were the real expense. They'll come up with, I'll tell you now, a car, a robot.
Okay.
Cars and robots.
They got cut silver tray with plastic things. So let's think of a symbol.
That happens quite a lot.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Or a dog. Remember that? Somebody did. Maybe not. I want
You
this.
do this every day, ladies?
Sorry.
You do this all the time?
It's very good.
Second time.
Is it?
Yeah. So we need to just do the path here, and then we can put the results.
They're like, you've
here,
seen those
and
videos
then
on the
pass
internet,
it.
on YouTube, where people.
Yeah.
It's
Very good.
difficult just keeping the main things, so people have to be able to understand. So. You see what I mean? The path is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do you want me to give you
This is how we did
the?
it.
I can give you the PowerPoint
No,
slides so you
I've
can
got
see.
it, but we
Right.
don't like to,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's quite different.
Yeah,
what's-
sure, yeah.
What actually comes out of it.
Yeah, we already have.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Building blocks.
Med line like this, yeah.
We'll stick it on.
Quite artistic,
Oh,
aren't
I
you?
want to do
Well,
it
nice.
at the end.
Autistic, aren't you?
Yeah, no, it's just that their trails.
Okay, 4 more minutes, please. Well, 4.5. Limited resources. Excellent. It's good.
I'll never think of that.
No, sorry, that's all we've got.
That's the idea.
That's all Spinny's had, I'm afraid.
I was more prototype.
Make it commercial. Willow. From Mattel. Or from Marvel.
Yeah, you didn't really say anything. But, I have to work at the seat.
All right.
So I'll have
We're engineering students.
Oh, excellent. It's a drag racer. I like it.
It's chopper style.
Yeah. Funny car style, they call them. In the drag racing world.
The ladies see more in this. They're all young.
Yeah.
One of the skills I have.
Alright, level 1. Okay, this one's a bit.
Something wrong with your wheel alignment at the front there, boys. Yeah. All we've got to do really is get him to present briefly.
With the brand.
But that's not the pro.
What's the extension strategy then?
Well, you could just talk about it, get him to like add some more bits on to make a different version.
Remote control car will be like.
We need to bend this a bit so that you get. And you want to make it child-proof, you know?
We can advertise a strong, safe, child-friendly.
Why didn't you make a jacket?
Lots of things.
Looks good.
We're done.
You're done.
Excellent. News to him. Right.
Unless you get a prize for
That's good. That's good. I love the arms.
when they make their cars. They usually finish like us. I think it is done, whatever it is.
Okay, 1 more minute, please, everyone. 1 more minute. Last changes.
My marvel. Spider-Man losing his latest
To teach children from a young age to carry, lift and manoeuvre.
Yeah.
Good, very important. Well done, superb.
So what time do we finish? 1:45.
2. Yeah, I'm finished at 2.
2?
Finish at 2.
All right, okay. Sorry, yeah, I meant 2, sorry. Okay, whilst you make any last changes, can you come up with a brand name? And maybe even a strapline. or glue the head back on.
No. We have to let our neighbors
What's the extension strategy? Well, the thing is, what we can do is we can change what goes in based on the difference.
Yeah, it's a business teacher, that guy.
Yeah. So it depends on trends.
Yeah. If anybody's unsure about extension strategy, a great example of extension strategies from a real business is KitKat. KitKat is a prime example, isn't it? The different sorts of KitKats that you can now buy are all extension strategies. Different size KitKats, KitKats which are dark chocolate or white chocolate, mini KitKats, packets of KitKats, every sort of KitKat possible is a great example to use of extension strategies from one of the great, well,
Best-selling
it's a
chocolate
great product just all round, isn't it? Just to use.
Especially with tea.
It's a great product with tea, indeed it is, dipped in it.
I think tea came first, though. No, right.
Also glasses, hipster glasses.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I always go PlayStation 3 on
The
extension
thing
strategy.
about KitKat, because you can start with KitKat during the Great Depression and the development of the original idea about people not being able to afford chocolate and the idea of cutting off the fingers to share and the idea that people can actually afford chocolate and it looks like chocolate but it's actually wafer. All of that is just a brilliant kind of innovative marketing from 1935.
Something like that, yeah.
It's great, isn't it? And then the evolution of the product. Yeah.
I think the women have won this one, lads.
I'm not sure. We're not sure about that. Because the head keeps falling off.
Okay, are we all done? Right.
We're going to start with the lads. Now, the lads have had a go at this before. Come on, lads, come on down. See, when they originally started the Enterprise Club, this was the exercise they were given to do. Okay?
They steal the idea from us.
Or is it slightly better?
No, if you want to fight, lads.
Competition.
Take the fight outside.
So all we need you to do is tell us, the concept of the toy, the brand name, and an extension strategy for the.
Alright,
So the concept of the toy is clearly a remote-controlled car
with extendable antenna.
with an extendable antenna, and the brand name is Paracar because it's so different, yet it's a car.
It's brought to you by Paradigms.
And yeah, basically, the marketing behind this is that it just looks so aesthetically pleasing that anybody would want to buy it, and it's the dynamics of the physics would work perfectly. And under this cap, you may not see it, but it's got extremely hardwired electronics.
Is it a tank?
It is. It's a receiver.
Receiver.
Ah,
This is remote.
Yeah.
Okay.
oh, very good.
It looks a bit like a tent to me.
It's whatever you want it to be.
It's
It's a children's toy. Children have imaginations. So.
Extension strategies. Extension strategies, gentlemen.
Okay, when this starts to dip, after it has its initial climb and
Yeah.
it starts to go down, in the business we learn you have a tiny, what's called an extension plan.
Yeah.
What you do then is we introduce a power card too, and what that does, it's made out of more hardy material. This allows for off-terrain.
This is only smooth terrain driving, but off terrain will be coming soon.
You see, he talked for 2 minutes while he thought of the extension strategy. Because he can multitask. He can do two
Brilliant.
things at once.
All right, well done,
Clever
boys.
lad as well, by the way.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, lad. That was terrible. But I don't think it's bad as the next one. Gentlemen, come on down. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. In the world, in this brutal world that we live in, goodness gracious me.
Superb. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Willow. Willow is a multi-purpose wheelbarrow designed predominantly for the UAE market to help children realise some of the skills that maybe their ancestors or the older generations actually had, as opposed to the modern technological environment that we find ourselves living in. The whole idea of this is to help students and children be a lot more able to use their fingers, to use their hands, and to make them realise that actually hard work did take place many, many years ago, during which Dubai was built. Okay? Now, extension strategies. We've got historical products that can go into the wheelbarrows, such as pearls, thus encouraging students to understand different elements of history in Dubai and the basis on which Dubai was built. Then as the students get older and older, they can start putting their own things in the wheelbarrows, and actually it's sturdy enough that when they do get old enough, they can go out and work with their grandfathers or fathers in the backyard. Sometimes the wheel may not. And it will actually hold real dirt and things like this. So there are extension strategies. Willow, as I say, is the name. Willow's.
Willow.
Yeah, it's very, very simple, isn't it? We all understood Willow.
From Harvard, yes.
That's it. We're all from different places. We all speak different languages, yet we all understood Willow.
Yes.
So we think it's done.
I think so.
It's good, yeah.
Because
Done.
being from Liverpool, you know all about the people's wheels.
Yes, I do. I stole these myself. Thank you. You can have
Private joke. I will explain later.
Okay.
That's fantastic. Thank
Do
you.
you want to go next?
And he even stands up.
Brilliant.
This is a bit spooky. I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit worried, ladies.
Good afternoon, everybody. We want to introduce Sunny the Solar Robot, our friend. Please meet our friend Sunny the Solar Robot.
Good for kitchen.
It has got it helps in cleaning the car wash and at home for washing dishes, and it has got the solar panel. It gets charged by
solar
itself.
panels.
Dubai is a very sunshine is all around, so it will be very useful without it. It's eco-friendly, and the extension is the children will be more hands-on activity. They will design their own something like that, some more high-tech products.
Make them self-independent so that they can use this for various junctures of theirs. And also it has got the hose pipes, and then the water droplets will be collected on the other side. So it is eco-friendly, where the cleaning and everything is takes place at the same time.
Wow.
Wow, excellent.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is a bit scary.
That's teeth.
Come on down then, folks.
This is a cannon.
Don't be shy.
Actually, most of the ideas were already presented. So lately, we just came out with the name of this, and we called it as a multi-toy, because we don't want to imitate the one presented in the first group, which is a car, and then say like that. So basically, if you're going to look at this, it's just like a toy, but if you're going to detach, you're going to adjust the different parts, it can be produce a different kind of toy. So it can be a car, it can be a boat, it can be a plane, it can be a kitchen set. So the best strategy that we can do is we can attract children to buy this one because they can use the way they want.
What's
It's a multi-toy.
What's the name? The brand name?
Multi-toy. All in one.
Very good.
That's terrible.
Done.
Well, they're all wonderful, weren't they? And I mean, it's just a little bit of
Should make a
fun.
vote. Which one is the best?
I don't want to embarrass anybody.
All in one.
I think the point about this is it's a little bit of fun. It's cheap to do in your lessons, and it's something that the outcome is really not the important thing, is it? It's the process.
Yes.
And so often in education, I'm as guilty as anybody else. I'm interested in outcomes, I'm interested in results, I'm interested in students being able to write essays in the right way and be able to structure an argument and understand the difference between a Keynesian and a neoclassical economist. You know, that all of those things are important, but it's equally important, really, isn't it, for people to understand the processes by which we develop ideas, and in the sense the ideas themselves are not important, it's the process by which people work together, use limited resources, come up with interesting and innovative ideas, and see how something like the idea of the extension strategy actually is very illustrative of what real businesses actually do on a day-to-day basis to make their products saleable in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so we've just got a couple of minutes left, so I'll just talk you through really some of the practicalities of how we actually run the Young Enterprise Club in our school. Sir, could you just take us through the slides? Yeah. First thing is, before you actually get the actual business idea up and running, you probably are going to need some startup capital. So the best way to do that is through some sort of fundraising. Like the boys said, donuts were very successful. You can do the standard bake sale, disco, sponsorship, donations from different people. Book sale, concert, fashion show, which I've seen before. And also maybe an auction, but sometimes maybe an auction of services, which can work as well. Okay, what have we got next?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so do you want to just click us through that, sir? Right.
Planning animation?
Yeah, now one of the key things when you're running the Enterprise Club, an Enterprise Club, is to obviously try and generate as much interest as possible in it. You don't want to just make it open to business and sort of economics students. You want to, you want to try and encourage people from all different areas of the curriculum. As we found out earlier on, the boys don't necessarily do business studies. It's really important when you get a group together to formalise it, give each of the members of the group a different focus. So, you're going to need like a managing director, a company secretary, finance, maybe if somebody's strong with maths, somebody organised as a secretary, somebody more creative in marketing. If somebody, is doing IT, they can bring in those skills like we saw with the editing of the video earlier on. A doer, maybe, in charge of operations, and also somebody who's good at networking, such as yourself, Jahan, who can actually be a purchaser and get out and buy the things at the right price. Okay? Okay. In addition to that, you need to think about the actual retail opportunities within your school, because it's probably going to start off at your school, but it may end up a business that exists outside of the school as well. So you might want to start off with things like parents' evenings, school productions like plays and that sort of thing, other school events, school fetes, and then you can maybe branch out again to sort of craft fairs, other school fetes. There's is it Friday mornings in Safford Park? Okay. have we got next, sir? Meetings, yeah. It's important to have regular meetings so everybody's touching base and knows what they're doing. These can be formalised on a given day of the week or can be run a little bit more ad hoc. Make sure there's an agenda, minutes, nameplates. Lay out the room like a boardroom, or if you've got a boardroom in your school, hold it in there to add that degree of formality. Financing is important. It's always important to have somebody as a finance director that knows what they're doing there, because I've found students can get a little bit lost with the money. And then at the end, make sure you evaluate what you've done. Often in the form of a trade-in report, which talks about everything you did and evaluates the successes and failures. Really important to reflect. For business studies, you can look at profit and loss and balance sheets. You can use them with classes the following year, who can look at the previous year's finances. And also, a bit of legacy as well. The boys said to me, you want your name to be on the wall when you leave the school? Yeah, important factor. So maybe some sort of plaque or trophy or something like that. Okay, and that'll encourage future students to get involved with the Enterprise Club as well. Okay, there we are. Finally, mapping it to the curriculum. We've got to realise there's so many different ways that an Enterprise Club is accessible to different students and departments throughout the school. We've seen marketing just there. You've just been marketing your product, finance. We've got PSHE with coming up with ideas, being resourceful. DT, making things, art, we've seen it. We've got sales, operations, human resources. Okay? And that's pretty much it, I think.
Thank you for your terrible.
Okay, thanks very much.
We have a few little summaries. We have it in Arabic, we have it in Tagalog, we have it in Spanish and French and English, if you would like any.
There you go. Okay.
And thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Mr. Davies and Mr. Hunt for a very thought-provoking and constructive session. Thank you, sir.
And the lads.
And the boys. Right, well done.
The students.
Great, thank you.